What's up again, folks? We got Drogie and Gainai end this race for you for our 70-star league here on the Global Speedrun Association channel. I am Electric, and I'm joined in the booth for this race by I Am Not Cola. How are you feeling today, my man?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. Definitely an exciting race we just had in the 6 o'clock round, so hopefully these two runners bring their best and keep up the momentum.
Yeah, it's going to be a little hard to do after such a steep finish like that, but we'll see what happens. And it looks like Drogie and Gainai collaborated on some BBH camera thing. As we can see in the standings here, Gainai towards the bottom, unfortunately, with a 2-6 win-loss record. Could shoot up a little bit higher, though, with a win over Drogie, who's currently sitting in 6th with a 4-5 record. So he's going to be looking to just further solidify his place, like in that 6th, 5th spot with a win. But with a loss, could see himself slip a little further down. So definitely doesn't want to give Gainai any kind of advantage. They're fairly evenly matched players. If anyone had an advantage, it would probably be Drogie, just due to, I believe, playing a little bit longer than Gainai. But like ultimately, like I said, it's a fairly even matchup here. So we'll just have to see what happens. It'll pretty much just on who's playing better today.
Their PB's only 17 seconds apart, so definitely a chance at a close race here. Drogie fighting to stay ahead of the cut line. I think I saw that 8th place is 4 and 6. Drogie right now at 4 and 5. Gainai not out of it with the win tonight. He would be only half a game out of the playoffs.
Yeah, so the players starting up their consoles, making sure that the files are all clear. And we're about to get started with the actual run.
And one of the few games where you start from reset instead of from file select. Just the way that speedrunning kind of came about. Mario 64, one of the really early speedrun games, and before there were, unified rule sets and, of course, big leagues like ours, you just kind of did whatever you had to do. So the OG moderators decided we start from reset, and that has been indoctrinated today. That was supposed to be a sentence. Forgive me, I'm a little tired. It's still Monday, but Milo called me a dinosaur while we were setting up, so I had to pull out a little bit of OG knowledge to gain some cred.
All right, now both players getting started using that same version here. I believe we saw the English text in the intro. I actually looked away for just a sec during that intro part.
Well, I suppose we'll figure out in about 20 seconds when they pop out of the pipe, right?
Yep. It's always been neat to me how in this game the English version has one less text box at the very intro here than DP does whenever you're actually about to do Lakitu skip. It saves a little bit of that intro time back that you lose in English just from reading the letter. Both players on English. It's also interesting how English scrolls faster. Like, you're able to get through text box every 9 frames, as opposed to on JP, it's every 11 frames.
Huh.
And so, even if both had the same number of text boxes, English would still be faster just from those 2 or 3 frames or so adding up every single time.
Yeah, I know in the 0 star, they used to run on English for that very reason. And then they switched over to Japanese because I guess they got more text boxes or something. I don't remember the full reasoning, but they know what they're doing, obviously, in the TAS world. And we know what we're doing here in the RTA world, although Drogie just missing the bomb clip. That'll give Gainai a huge advantage here.
Yeah, he got a nice sized bomb, but then ended up throwing it instead of actually using its speed to get behind a cage. So a little slow, but yeah, he's fine now. The slide time guess is coming out. I'm going to go ahead and go with a 12-8 for Gainai and a 12-7 for Drogie.
All right, I'll go 12-8 for Drogie, 12-7 for Gainai.
The exact reversal, all right.
Well, I can't... I was thinking 12-8 in my head. I'm like, well, I can't say 12-8. He just said 12-8. What do we got from Gainai? Well-timed dive. And we have I think that's a 12-7. And a little bit late, this might be a 12-8. And that is going to be perfection for me.
Nicely done. All right. I guess I just got the players confused or something. My guess was still right in some world.
Beginner's luck, we'll call it.
Right now, heading on into Womps. Everything here just loses a disproportionate amount of time. You miss Cannonless, 6 seconds. You miss a cycle on 100 coin, like 10 seconds. You miss Alice, 8 seconds. Like it just, any minor mistake on any of these stars loses a lot more time than it should. But it's not a death sentence. You can definitely make up plenty of time throughout the rest of the run. It just can definitely hurt your mentality to fail things at the start. Gainai with a nice Cannonless, though, as Drogie heads on to Alice first.
And there are obviously, huge time losses later in the run. So, if you have a small time loss now, mainly just keeping the mindset that there's loads of opportunities. There's still so much game right now to go. One of these runners could fall asleep and still win. Maybe not quite fall asleep, but you get what I'm saying. Obviously, we saw in the last race, Heisenberger had a gigantic lead, had to slip up at the very end of Bowser in the Sky, and that's what cost him, as we see Drogie going for fast Cannonless here, and got it. Well done.
Yeah, nice texture setup. And he was able to move Mario very quickly into position. That's really the difficulty with texture setup, is moving Mario exactly where you can visually see he needs to go.
See, I'm just thankful we figured out, any means of Cannonless, and we're not still diving at the wall 100 times and resetting.
And it's interesting seeing how the OG strat has kind of reemerged in some of the short categories, especially like if you get a bad Dark World. Okay, Gainai kind of odd movement here. Didn't end up getting the wall kick there and missing
Hello, red coin. Thank you.
Losing less time than he could have on this star, but overall not too bad. And yeah, once he's taken that time loss, you may as well grab the blue, since you can like do a little bit of a skip on the end here. He'll probably be able to skip like one of the last lines that he'd normally have to grab.
Solid womp fight from Drogie. Well, EU on EU action, I just noticed. We got Switzerland and Germany.
Yeah, a lot of players from all over in this league. Oh, Gainai with a little bit of an issue there.
Another miss, a little bit sloppy of 100, but, I'll take a little bit sloppy 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, like when you don't miss a full cycle, like it's all right. I mean,
yeah,
it's easy to lose a few seconds on the ending, but like nothing hurts worse than just having to sit there and wait for the platform to come back around or something.
Or getting to 90, 95 coins, making a huge mistake, maybe even dying somehow. These 100 coin stars, you're really playing with fire, because odds are the route is such that you're not going to make a gigantic mistake, but if you do somehow make a gigantic mistake, let's say Drogie just for some reason slid on whatever the pushy things are called and fell off of the map, suddenly he's down a minute and Gainai has a giant advantage.
Yeah, and we've actually seen that happen to like Punkation a couple weeks back, like taking a fall right on the end of this 100 coin, and still ended up winning the race in the end.
That's Punkation for you.
And what's funny is I think that was actually against Drogie, so it's kind of interesting that it came up again. But now the last two stars in the stage real quick. Quick little wild blue star. Nice cam setup from Drogie, rolling out right on the edge of that fence there. That's part of like what's led to the hyper optimization of this game in recent years, is finding various camera setups in order to have a straight dead on angle towards your ultimate destination. So you're able to build up a lot of speed and conserve it without having to like strafe in some direction to make a turn.
Yeah, I was thinking during the DDD in the last run, I don't think there's any other game in which you have to manipulate the camera as much as in Mario 64, maybe like Pokemon Snap, but obviously the camera is the point of the game. Whereas this, the camera strats, especially in those levels with a lot of lag, I don't think there's anything else like it, certainly in speedrunning.
And what's interesting is like it's a very intuitive claw grip in a lot of cases. Like when you need to hold a button while manipulating A and B. Like for instance, I end up using a claw grip during part of Lakitu Bounce, and it's very natural and intuitive. It's just part of how I do the star. I think like one of the greatest strengths of this game for speedrunning that ends up being a little bit of a hindrance casually is the fact that the camera is controlled with buttons. You're able to get very reliable angles as a speedrunner, but for a casual player, like sometimes it doesn't move exactly how you want it to. And so like it's kind of unfortunate that you'll probably never see a game design again today, a platformer with button controls for the camera. But for this game, like it just lends itself so well to speedrunning and so well to really nice complex setups due to just how precise you can manipulate the camera.
And that's game knowledge. I don't even have a follow-up. You just... by the way, a nice 12-6 from Drogie there on the slide. Gainai had another 12-7. Let's put on to dueling winged Mario red coins.
And Gainai with really nice execution. I think Drogie flew a little bit better, but ultimately their arcs were pretty similar. And Drogie pulling out the rollout tech skip there.
Nice.
Did making up some nice time over Gainai.
Yeah, the lead is about half a second now for Gainai. And obviously a ton of race to go. We'll be seeing these guys going for another 40-plus minutes, but it's always nice to see, even a little bit into the run, when these runners are synced up.
Right now we'll be seeing some Dark World action here. More than likely just standard Shig cycle. Gainai using that cam setup there so that he gets an angled long jump, so he's able to conserve a little bit more speed during his long jump. It's standard Shig pace so far. I don't believe we're going to see a box rollout here. Again, no. So let's see this elevator here. Looks like they're good to go. Yeah.
Solid
Nice
first two red coins, though. I always fall on that first one.
Yeah. It's hard to like really get your bearings in this stage, but with enough grinding and practice, you can eventually perform well at it. Now, Gainai going for Pov Shig movement here could certainly work out for him still, but missed the red coins. So wow! Just go back for it. Drogie saving a lot of time there. Gainai having to take like just a true late cycle there. An extra kick to prevent dying there. Wow, that was a little close.
No Zaya cycle, what a plug.
Well, what's interesting is Shia's cycle has gotten a little bit more attainable for like standard runners in RTA with the advent of a box rollout. You can like do a very quick dive rollout on the slope leading up to the second red coin and have that rollout carry you onto the court box. So you're able to save a lot of speed while still continuing on. And with that, you're able to hit that rotating cartwheel elevator so fast that you do the normal movement on it and are still on pace afterwards to hit Shia cycle. You get like one platform earlier. So you don't have to do that like really complicated underside movement unless you like make a mistake earlier on in the stage.
Drogie almost missed a Bowser throw there, but thankfully connects, and he comes out of the stage with about a 3-second lead.
And so, all right, going on into Sky Jump now.
Mario, of course, fitting a giant key into his overalls.
He's like Courage the Cowardly Dog. He just has an infinity pocket somewhere, a bag of holding inside his clothes. I want to see, like, in Mario Odyssey 2, like, instead of Cappy, just Mario pulls random things out of his overalls. Like, he has magic overalls. So, like, I need to cross the ocean to get to Bowser? Here's a cruise liner. Like, just random stuff like that.
Scribble knots.
Yeah, but no drawing. He just pulls out whatever he needs. Just,
fair enough.
Like, an ongoing Deus Ex Machina.
You know what I want to see?
What?
Mario Odyssey 2.
I mean, yeah. It'd generally be nice, yeah. Okay, so now we're heading on into CCM, and with the pillarless trick that we're seeing in SSL, you do have some options on how exactly to approach this stage. You can either skip the penguin race entirely and do 100 coin with slip sliding away. That's known as a CCM 17 route, as you leave the stage with 17 stars. Or you could race the penguin and do 100 coin at the same time and just do slide star on its own, which is the CCM 18 route. You'll see the difference between those two routes come up later in Shifting Sandland in a couple stages. Both players with a nice wall kicks will work, not falling off the ice platform whatsoever.
I love how this star is called. Nice. I love how this star is called Wall Kicks will work, because of course it's intended to teach the player how to do a wall kick, and then both players just pull out that beautiful flex.
Yeah, and it's like, kind of interesting, like how much of a power move that star looks like, but it is fairly easy to pull off. It's just the consistency can be a little hard due to how difficult depth perception can be in this game.
And it looks like both players will be going for the CCM 18 as they're getting slip sliding away right here.
Yep. Ultimately a safer route for the basement, but the penguin race can go astray and leave you with a really, really bad time. So let's hope that doesn't happen here.
Certainly the more conventional route of the two.
Yeah, the other route does require you to do pillarless twice, which is a huge source of difficulty for a lot of runners, and there's a big reason why.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many times I've seen the big penguin race go wrong, and I'm trying to think of how many times I've seen pillarless go right. So,
yeah.
I personally, if I'm one of these runners, especially in a race, I'm going the single pillarless and going the CCM18. But I'm also commentating and not playing, so... Does my opinion really matter?
All my issues with depth perception in this game lead to bad death perception. Yeah, yeah, I could see it. It's just like it feels like for some reason there's some walls that like look further away from Mario than normal. Like especially in HMC, there's some of the dark brick walls that I feel like I'm early on wall kicks more reliably than other walls in the game. Like I guess I've just grinded wall kicks will work enough that wall isn't too troublesome for me, but like rolling rock, that wall kick is a little bit troublesome sometimes if I don't like really focus.
Yeah, I feel like I always get caught up in rolling rocks because I'm not watching for rolling rocks on watch for rolling rocks. Depth perception is kind of weird in this game, but you know, it's 1996. It was revolutionary to have a 3D platformer at this point, so I'm gonna cut the devs some slack.
I mean, it's certainly better than the fishbowl camera that you would get with like FPSs on the Saturn and like other systems.
Okay.
And so both players with a nice 85 coins going into the last area of the slide here, so they're able to get their 100 coin start pretty quick and easily here. Passing right by the penguin to grab their final treasure.
I miss the old days of wall kicking off the wood wall there, and then swag diving back to the star. Certainly this is much safer and probably doesn't lose any time, but I do miss the swag of, you know, being recklessly unsafe in races. Of course, both of our players certainly know what they're doing, and they're gonna take the safe route. They're not out to, you know, flex on us. They're out to get a dub.
Yep. All right, so BBH coming out now. Let's see what the star order ends up being. Looks like Drogie is going to be doing Bouquet Star first, and Gainai also... Okay, actually, they're using just a different cam for this star than what I'm used to. So both with this...
Wow.
Both different issues with the side flip wall kick dive.
Drogie with a bonk and Gainai just with a whiff.
It just kind of goes to show that that side flip can be kind of finicky. Your camera's a bit weird there. And like actually getting the wall kick to go where you want it to can be a little hard too. Like it's a little bit complicated.
Ooh, Gainai!
A little bit of a boo issue, but he's got it safe now. Anytime you mess up on that balcony, like your heart just starts beating twice as fast. Because falling off, like the entire fight just restarts when you get back up there, and it just takes forever.
Yeah, it's got to be a loss of about 25-30 seconds if I had to guess.
Oh, easy. Yeah, I think I've even seen it be like 40 sometimes. Like it's wild. It just takes so long to deal with it. And of course, it's so tilting that like you end up having a tendency to make mistakes on the rest of your house movement. Kind of with the speed side flip there, you don't see a ton of runners end up going for that. Not too much faster than the wall kick off the balcony, but still pretty nice and quick.
Hey, we did get some flex after all.
Yeah, there are a lot of little strats that you see various runners go for that are just little flexes here and there. So, all right, let's see. Both players only need to do 1+, and we'll see how that goes. In short, Pillarless, the trick that they're about to attempt involves getting a glitchy bomb grab similar to Bomb on Battlefield for bomb clip. But unlike that, instead of just using the standard glitch bomb grab for its speed, we re-grab the bomb to get into a state called hands-free, where we have additional movement options and the bomb fuse ticks down slower. So we're able to make our way all the way to the pyramid and then clip into the top where there's a loading zone, normally for stand tall on the 4 pillars. So Drogie with that re-grab done, and now he's making his way across the sand here. Very important. The double jump is not quite coming out. You get a single jump, and because of your speed and the angle of the slope, you almost immediately land again and need to do your second jump. There's just a very quick double tap of the A button that's fairly hard to get consistent.
Gainai with the preferable fail of the two, gonna go for the Condor here.
And Drogie just doing standard plus here, doing his bomb re-grab all the way on the front side of the slope there. Nice second plus attempt from Drogie here, and that's the only one he's gonna have to deal with. Gainai's gonna go in for round 2 here. Let's see what he comes up with.
If Gainai can get this, he certainly has the advantage, but he's not gonna get it.
Yeah, bomb blowing up in his face. He's got one more backup, but after this, he's going to lose a lot of time for each subsequent attempt.
Thankfully, he has the quicker backup. Drogie right now going for Condor. So if Gainai can get this, he can still keep up that advantage that he got from Drogie dying a moment ago. Alright, moment of truth, guys.
Alright, he does have the bomb grab.
Oh, wow, he lost the
bomb, but not quite diving far enough. So he doesn't get his re-grab. Gonna have to respawn the bomb here. Smart to face the camera that way so he sees right when the bomb respawns. And that one blowing up in his face as well, having to just respawn another. This is all time lost now. Drogie's heading right over to LLL.
And at what point...
And it blows up again.
Because he's now blown up 4 bombs. He's 1 for 5 even grabbing the bomb. At what point...
Doesn't jump on that one, hits B early.
Just angrily chucks it. At what point do you just say, all right, enough is enough, and go for the pillars?
I think there's a lot of sunk cost thinking going on, ultimately, and especially thinking I may as well keep attempting it because trying to just get out of it is also going to waste more time. But Gainai is a full red star behind now. That's pretty devastating.
As I say that, he finally gets it after, I think, attempt number 7. So Drogie left the door wide open. Gainai not only can't capitalize, but opens the door for Drogie. It was a huge lead now. Well, 1 star, but 1 star can be a huge lead in this game.
Oh yeah, and like especially at this point in the basement, it's a pretty significant advantage that Drogie has. And missing a red coin on reds here, Gainai just needs to just kind of mentally reset and get himself back together here.
Drogie, I'm assuming, is going for big bully number 1. Good fight there.
Gainai heading into the volcano.
Of course, doesn't really matter what order you do these stars, I guess.
Yeah, nothing new spawns on the stage at any point. It's really just down to personal preference. Gainai with kind of a weird... Oh! Didn't expect to get...
What world happened there?
So he didn't expect to get like the low pole grab that puts him on the platform. So he was just holding forward to climb up on the pole higher. Luckily, he did get the second attempt at a lava boost. But okay, and there we finally get the decent ending he was looking for. That was just a whole lot of weird that lost him some time, but unfortunately for him, didn't result in a death.
And the bad news is if he looks over at Drogie's screen, a perfect triple bully fight.
Yeah, triple bullies is just, it either goes well or it really doesn't. Like, you can get through a lot of the time just, you know, missing one of them and quickly kicking him in, but when it goes wrong, a lot of the time you lose like 10 plus seconds to it just going really wrong.
Sick ref, fair enough, Muffin. Drogie heading into the volcano now. Let's see if he can get this in 1 try.
Long jump boost, nice and consistent for these runners. And the ending... Okay, that was a little bit risky, but Drogie ending up just coming out fine at the end of the day.
This star, almost more than any other in the run, kind of makes my heart skip watching because you don't really know. Obviously, you know, as a viewer, you're not controlling Mario, but it's really hard to tell if you've successfully landed on that top platform. Gainai using a little bit of social distancing on those bullies. I had to do it at some point.
Forceful social distancing, I guess. Compulsory, mandatory social distancing.
I mean, we're kind of getting there now.
Drogie with a nice rollout to finish out elevator tour real quick. And he's got his 30 stars, going to be headed on over to DDD now. And getting ready for that Fire Scene matchup with Bowser. And so Gainai finishing up elevator tour, but still has yet another star left to go.
Now we're seeing those mistakes pile up. Yes, there are large mistakes in this game that cost you a ton of time, but there are a lot of opportunity for those tiny mistakes. Like each of those pillarless attempts only cost him maybe 4 or 5 seconds, but because he had to take 7 attempts, now he's way behind.
Yep. He's got a fairly quick start to finish things off. Drogie swimming for some nice chests. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Drogie is actually still the single star record holder for this star.
Huh.
It is somewhat simple to get down, but ultimately, like, getting it consistently very fast does take a lot of practice. Just getting the rhythm of the swimming very consistent. Like the fact that it is slower pace than flying does make it a little easier than flying, but it's no less challenging figuring out how exactly to do it optimally. So,
they say swimming takes the second most muscles in the human body of any sport.
That's valid. That's very valid.
Somehow, swimming in video games is not number one.
See, I don't know how exactly that computes to Mario though, because as evidenced by his ability to recover from very big falls or like fire damage or other things, I don't think he's exactly human. I think he's beyond human.
Nintendo has officially stated that he's a human.
I
don't
feel like
totally
at least
know
in
how...
this game, he must be made of Nintendium to be as indestructible as he is in a lot of cases.
That's fair, and I mean, we've seen he's significantly different from, say, the humans in the Metro Kingdom. So there's some weird Nintendo logic going on there.
He's like a super soldier, but kid-friendly. Like there's definitely some genetic modification going on. He is the next evolution of humanity. This is our future, folks. This is what we will aspire to become one day.
He's modified by the power of pasta.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
We have the spaghetti.
Is Mario different or is the world different? It's a good question. And speaking of like the camera setups earlier, Drogie actually just used a cam setup there to get a really good angle to start out the stage here. Drogie headed for Lava Boost cycle here, a fairly difficult cycle to hit, but if he does hit it, he's going to leave Gainai a lot to answer for. And so far on decent pace for it. Double wall kicks there. Took a little bit of a slowdown after that elevator fall, but ultimately, like, he's still on good pace. Skips the ledge grab there, nice. And so,
moment of truth.
Looks good. Yeah, he's decently deep on the platform. Good to see.
Beautiful.
And that box movement that he did is like about a year and a half old at this point, and it just gives you a little bit of spare time. Taking a bit of a burn there, but all good. And I'm gonna be long jumping right around that little stone column, grabbing the final red.
Honestly, this is one of my favorite stars in the game. There's just so much tech all at once and so many backup strats you have to have in your arsenal if you don't catch that elevator cycle. Or if you do something like that, like Gainai's currently doing.
Gainai is almost... Okay, Gainai has like no way of hitting early Ellie, so he's losing at least like 15-20 seconds over Drogie here. That's really devastating. Oh, man. And
but again, as we saw earlier, this is not over until you hit 3 Bowser throws in the sky.
Yeah. If you have the ability to like really just reset and have a fresh mentality going into the upstairs, like you do have the ability to pull off some amazing things, but it's tough. It's honestly really, really hard.
It's the worst possible cycle for that red. And of course the swag.
Yeah, for consolation, though, at least he is able to have the setup for the good ending here. But all right, Drogie is going to be headed up now into Wet Dry World. Going to be likely starting with 100 coin here. And he's a good distance ahead of Gainai, but Gainai could certainly still clutch out a win if Drogie starts giving him some room.
Gonna go for hundreds and secrets first. This is a red coin, though. Or a coin, I'm sorry, not a red.
He's gonna grab this one, but then the other one is gonna be gone, so his safety is out. Not a huge deal, though. The backup box on the bridge at the end isn't too bad to get if you have to. Not gonna be going for the speed kick strat. Some people will actually do a speed kick triple jump, and they'll end up breaking the box with the triple and then wall kick and grab some of the coins from the coin spray in midair, which saves some time from picking them up off the ground. But it's a little hard to do in a way that actually saves time.
I definitely love, because this game is so old and so prevalently run, how much minutia is in this game. Like, I've been watching this game for well over a decade, and I've already learned a ton in the last half hour.
And what's really fascinating is, like, in this game, there is every player, I believe, has a strat that no one else does the way that they do it. There's 1 star for every player that they either like saw someone else do it some kind of way or saw like a theory video. Like, I don't think you'll ever find 2 runners that will approach the run the exact same way. And like even like minor strats, especially that you don't see like at the very top level, you'll see a lot of both beginner and like intermediate level runners. They'll do various strats that are just easier for them, lose a little time to the pro stuff, but like is still very nice and fast. Like for me, there's a strat that I do in HMC to skip over triple box jump, and it loses like 2 seconds to triple box jump, but like saves a little time to the elevator star. I just found it from like being on the SM64 Discord. Like there's so many ways to do everything. It's like such a free form way that you approach the game. As like a famous YouTuber described it, the game is like jazz. Like you approach everything in a different way. Whatever you think might work, you experiment with. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You have players like Cinemark that make like 5-6 hour long videos every couple years with all their random ideas. And some of them are barely slower than like the things they're trying to replace, but some of them actually lead to even better strats being developed. And it's a beautiful thing, man.
And this game is 24 years old, hasn't been modified at all since it came out of the box. It's not like, you know, nowadays where if it ships with a glitch, then they can go in and patch it. It took 7 years for people to find backwards long jumps, but because of the power of the internet today, we are finding new strats in this 24-year-old game and ultimately new ways to play it. Like, I mean, I remember thinking, you know, the 3-click challenge was the coolest, biggest thing in 2007. And now we're out here doing A button challenges and B button challenges. I think there's a Z button challenge.
Yeah, there's like no stick single stars that I've seen from Panacoic. Like, and there's so much to this game, even beyond like the main categories. If you start getting into like the meme categories, all coins, all 1-ups, all signs, there's movement you never see anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. 5-star, 30-star, 45-star. I mean, there's like so many categories in this game that I'm pretty sure there's like a category extension on speedrun.com.
And like if you check the spreadsheet of single stars and watch some of the like true single star world records that use strats not seen in RTA, virtually no star looks like the way that you even see it in this run. Like the JRB stars, for instance, many of them involve a BLJ using the metal cap and just various things like that. You would never see in an RTA run, but it is possible, and humans have done it in the single star basis. Like it's just, there's so much to explore with this game, and it's so amazing.
Yeah, especially like the bomb carpet skip in Rainbow Ride.
Oh,
I know I'm kind of skipping forward a couple levels, but
yeah, carpetless is an amazing achievement. But there's stuff that like makes even that look just like child's play. Like there's some BLJ strats that you're like, oh, okay, how did you control Mario with that much speed that precisely?
Like I said, I mean, I've been watching this game for most of my post-adolescent life, and I'll watch new videos and be like, what? How is that possible? Like it's almost like being a magician and watching a magic trick that you've never seen before, and it's like, what on earth? Because like you think you know everything about this game, but you really don't.
Yeah. Now, one thing that everyone should know about this game, though, is just that THI sucks. Like, it's just not a very fun stage at the end of the day. There's 3 stars to get in it. Secrets can be a little bit challenging sometimes and a little bit fun as a result, but like top of the island, unless you do the island clip strat, it's just not that bad. But Gainai, 2 more stars left. Drogie, done with the stage, going to be moving on over to Diet Tippy, Tall Mountain.
And by the way, it's 2 different islands, in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people ask that. Although, like, it's a good question because you see, like, with various games, like Majora's Mask, for instance, to accomplish the 2 twin mode fights, like, there's a smaller arena at the top of the stage, and like it does the same thing that Mario does here. Like, they just make Mario physically bigger on the screen, in addition to making the enemies in the stage smaller to make it look like he's a giant.
Well, yes. Obviously, I was referring more in canon. Like, if it was the same island, then none of the same coins would be there.
Oh, okay. That's fair, but I mean, the name is Tiny Huge Island. It does imply that the same island gets tiny and huge. And with all the other stuff in this game, I think that you should trust the semantics of the naming here. I mean, it just...
But then why can't you get tiny or big in any other level? Why can't I just make Tall Tall Mountain really, really, really
It's
tiny?
the only thing special about this level. There's nothing else redeemable, so it has to have that.
Well, instead of getting into a fight about it, let's get back to the run here.
Yeah, Drogie with a nice first mountain clip star, going in for his second one here. Going out of bounds of that nicely timed jump dive, and you're able to land out of bounds in a body of water. And the game has this property where it snaps you to the top of any body of water when you go under it. So it then calculates what your downward speed was and uses that to figure out how far down to put you in the water. So you effectively get upwarped by just landing really, really low underneath the water plane.
Yeah, Drogie has had great execution while we were, nerding out about Mario 64. And he's starting to open up a pretty sizable lead here. Although Gainai looking to have good execution so far.
Yeah, nice first log wall kick from Gainai. Drogie, though, finished up with Mushroom Star already.
Oh,
Gainai taking a little bit of a fall there.
Doesn't lose too much time, a couple seconds, but again, as we mentioned earlier, these mistakes pile up.
Oh, for sure. Drogie probably going for breezeless here. Let's see. Yep. And it looks good. No, not quite high enough there. So with that star, the two big things that happen are either you're just not close enough to the wall for the fence to try to pull you in, or you're just not high enough. And if you see the Mario like try to get clipped in but then pop right back out, that simply means you weren't high
another
enough.
slip by Gainai.
Oh, falling off on that log wall kick. Not losing too much time since he still has reds as a backup, but definitely doesn't want that happening again. Very comfy, safe reds coming out from Gainai too. A lot of just simple dive rollouts, but not grabbing more than a couple coins with a rollout.
And all things considered, seeing as he, had just missed a strat there, that was a really good red.
Drogie with an awesome backup on Snowman's big head there. Not getting the triple jump, so having to take a kick up that Snowman slope, but making it work out just fine. That could have gone south really, really quickly, but Drogie is a good enough player who's able to react really nicely.
Drogie, I think, is in a 3-star lead right now. Can't tell if that's a 5 or a 6.
So to answer the question in chat, Gainai is racing Punke after this. This is actually a fully live race, whereas the next race will be a pre-record. And that's just because the Gainai Punke race was a holdover from last week that got delayed.
Oh, good to know. So it will be new to us and to the viewers, but obviously not new to the runners.
Yep. So for this live race, like the runners are just streaming from their like alt accounts, and like the race is happening fully live. They just started their timers at the same time. For the pre-recorded races, it's the same type of situation where they meet at a given time and they start their consoles at the same time, no reset. But it's just for the pre-records, that footage gets recorded and played live on the stream for the first time for us commentators and all the viewers. So like we do get some people thinking that like they get to submit a run for a pre-recorded race. That's not quite how it works. Like it is a full pre-recorded race. Gainai nicely getting breezeless here. But this one is actually truly live in every way. Drogie actually getting SL Reds real quick. Kind of an interesting decision there. He wasn't doing HMC early, so he doesn't need this star unless he's deciding to do TTC without TTC 100. Which I could definitely see. He might just want to hold on to this advantage as much as he can. Especially because Gainai is just now entering the stage.
Now, do you suppose that they change their route based on how the other player is doing, or do you think they're just playing their game and ignoring the other runner altogether?
It really depends on the runner. Some runners like Rock Chalk will just do a run without paying any attention to like the Discord call or like anything really. But a lot of runners will decide to just have the stream open, and they will like try to play a little more conservatively at times. Drogie with a little bit of a bonk, but not a huge deal yet.
Good backup strat.
Yeah, very nice. Gainai, nice ground pound right on the star box.
So Gainai certainly with a cleaner execution there, but these runners have diverged off the path, so we will not see them converge again until they go up the stairs to Bowser in the Sky, so it'll be hard to tell who exactly is in the lead.
So I just realized the reason that Drogie actually picked up that extra star, he missed a star somewhere beforehand upstairs. I guess thinking back, I'm not sure if he actually grabbed Toad, which would be a weird mistake, but he may have also just like forgotten a TTM star or something. Like, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Actually, you know, he might have missed something in THI because I know he did stars kind of in a weird order there. Anyway, he is back on good star count though with doing SL Reds.
Did he miss Tip Top of the Mountain? Because I think he got secrets.
I think the top of the mountain was actually the first star he did there.
Okay.
But top of the island, I think he may have, because I saw he did piranhas like 1 star early, I think. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
Cheese versus D whatever is now taking place next week. I do not know why. Maybe you know?
I'm not actually sure why either.
Okay. I'm sure they have their reasons.
Drogie starting out the easiest of maze caves with a triple box jump. And it's good to go, nice. It starts a little bit harder than a lot of people will give it credit for. As soon as you get the triple jump, you actually want to let go of the stick and potentially even hold back. The ceiling, even though like there's no ceiling, the wall itself is fairly high, so you need to have fairly little forward momentum on your triple jump until you actually get the full height of the jump to clear the wall. And then of course beyond the wall, there is a death plane out there, so you have to be careful exactly when you push forward again.
Yeah, that hidden death plane has certainly gotten me a number of times.
It's easy to fall into. And like, even if you do the strat that I mentioned earlier on in this run, like to skip over doing triple box jump, the death plane is also still an issue there as well.
Really, in any of the other quick strats, side flipping over the wall in the room, or even pushing down on the elevator, that death plane does come into play. So for instance, this strategy, he does miss the death plane, obviously, because he's a pro. And he gets the quick button press because he's a pro.
Right, so 1 more left on Drogie's side, 3 on Gainai. But the stars here are fairly quick, and of course, Tippy is still coming up, which can always be troublesome. Gainai running right past the star. Okay.
Well, there's depth perception.
Yeah.
Exclamation point standings to whoever just asked for the standings. I can get you the schedule because I have that loaded up. So coming up next, we're going to have Gainai versus Puncation in a pre-record. And then at 9 o'clock, we have Rock Chalk versus Wilco. And that will wrap things up for the evening.
And you can always find our schedule with exclamation point schedule. We have our races like plotted out weeks in advance typically for our leagues like this. So,
I wasn't sure if that was a commentators only schedule or if that was...
Oh, no, that is for like all general viewers. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'm glad it is.
All right. Gainai with 1 more star left. Drogie headed on into Rainbow Ride now. So this is where things can get really, really dicey.
Maybe Rainbow Ride. There you go. Mario really didn't want to go, and I don't blame him.
It's a little bit menacing of a stage. Going with the turnaround rather than the side flip opening there. We've got some jumps on the board real quick.
As we've seen, this ending is not free. But Drogie gets it. We saw both runners in the last race have a lot of trouble with that star. So Drogie nailing one of the harder stars in this run. Certainly where a lot can go wrong. You can lose a lot of time. We're on to red coins in the maze now for Drogie. As Gainai is joining the party in Rainbow Ride and taking
the instant fall.
I mean, I'd rather that than some of the other deaths in this stage, but still,
That's fair.
Loses 10 to 15 seconds.
And it just, that's what happens in this stage. You make a tiny slip up and it just all goes downhill really, really fast. Gainai also with that turnaround setup, but a little bit too low. I think he turned around a little too far to the left.
Gonna go for the red coins as a backup. You do have a couple backup stars because of how many you collect and how condensed everything is at the start.
And
Meanwhile,
Drogie
Drogie just took a
triangle
death.
there, trying to go for the left side movement, but not ledge grab. Or yeah, he walked it instead of ledge grabbed.
Starting to let Gainai back into this race. Ooh, careful, there you go.
Nice, nice.
This triangle's not proving to be tricky for Drogie once he gets to them. Really getting there was the challenge in this case.
Yup.
Tricky Triangle's, of course, one of the 2 star names that I actually know.
It's a very relevant star name, just like swinging in the breeze. You just go up to the swing, and it's typically a breeze. Drogie not quite getting the side flip on that rotating platform there. It's fairly common to make that error.
Nice backup strat, though.
Yeah. Luckily, that strat is fairly easy. It's just like doing it consistently can be kind of a challenge.
Good old depth perception.
Yeah. It's very easy to like end up jumping a little bit too far and have serious problems from it. Now, Drogie going with Toad early rather than Toad after TTC. Oh, Bonk's on the stage, so now he's going to have to wait for time to speed back up again. So losing a little bit of time, has to do an extra slow or time stopped entry later on. But Gainai hopefully won't have to deal with that. We'll see what Gainai ends up pulling out.
See where Drogie's headed first. Looks like it's the Pendulum Star.
Nice. Nicely done.
Is it?
Oh, and then
Gainai
also taking a big
missing.
fall and swinging.
And takes a bigger fall than Drogie did. Drogie had an easy backup, whereas Gainai's going to have to start from scratch.
Yeah, but nice movement so far. He's accounting for this pretty well.
And great follow-up from the mistake. Gainai saving himself some time. Looks like he's all done with Rainbow Ride.
Yeah, but Drogie just blazing on through TTC at this point.
And Gainai's going to go for a later Toad.
Going to be starting right off with TTC 100 and doing it alongside Drogie, but Drogie has 2 more stars in the stage.
No safety red for Drogie. I did not see if...
It doesn't look like Gainai picked his up either, which is not too surprising.
Strategy.
Yeah, normally the stage goes fine. It's just the rare case when it doesn't that you really wish you would have grabbed the safety red. Luckily, a lot of boxes are like kind of like this, where they're in a sealed area, so you're able to get around them fairly easily.
Yeah, when the RNG doesn't cooperate on those 10 coin boxes.
That's when things can get pretty iffy, yeah. Oh, and Invisible coming out on Gainai's side. Let's see the backup real quick, and he does avoid the Invisible on the backup here.
Very good.
Drogie, no Invisible shenanigans, so he's already at the end of the star.
Really pretty solid hundreds from both players. Quick miss there. Gainai is gonna get Stomp on the Thwomp in one go. Drogie the backup by actually stomping on the Thwomp.
All right, so some quick time moving starts from Gainai. 3 left for Drogie now. Nearly at the end of this run. Get a hand coming out. Or, no, sorry, Reds first.
Of course, Gainai really only 2 behind because he still has a Toad, although he just missed a... There you go. And he'll grab Pendulum. Nice Reds from Drogie. He has 2 stars remaining.
Yep, real close to the end at this point.
You gotta think something catastrophic would have to go wrong for Drogie, but I mean...
It has happened.
Seen so many times. Bowser in the Sky is a stage begging for catastrophes. I don't think the designers of this game had that in mind when they were designing it. Like, let's just make a stage where everything possible can go wrong, and let's throw it at the end, you know, just in case there's a speedrun league 24 years from now. But they certainly had great foresight to throw that stage at the end.
It's really nice and predictive. Okay, Drogie, one last star left. Gainai, get a hand already done. Needs 2 more stars before he's able to talk to Toad.
And Drogie has get a hand left at the end. That's one of the quicker stars, I think the quickest star in the stage. Yeah, what am I thinking? So he's off to fight Bowser. Gainai, though, a little more work to be done.
Now, Drogie does have to execute well on this stage, and there's a lot that can go wrong and lose you 10, 15 plus seconds, even like up to a minute if you take a really nasty death towards the end.
Gainai a little sloppy getting into the cage, but now he's got it. Alright, moment of truth. Can Drogie finish out this run?
Okay, he's got the momentum going up the slope here. Goes for a pretty safe triple jump dive. Takes it back up on it as well.
I don't blame you. That triple jump doesn't save a whole lot of time, so there's no sense in going for it if you don't have the right setup.
Yeah.
Really solid so far. He's gonna go for the risky strat here. Got it.
Nice moving left side there. That's somewhat standard at the top end now, but definitely like not quite as difficult as the moving right side that you can see from some runners. But it's definitely still very challenging. A lot of runners will still opt for standing left side just due to the positioning.
Oh, did he?
Okay. Drogie taking a little bit of a time loss there, having a lot of trouble getting into the pipe, but
almost slipped off of the platform with the bonk. You could see his heart rate went up about 20 beats a minute.
Oh yeah, yeah. It always hurts when you bonk on stairs like that you like fall like 3 or so times before actually stopping. It's always so painful. And I bonk up as he goes up his stairs, getting to the final Bowser fight.
Drogie will miss a throw, but he's already at the end of the level. He's going to have to miss a lot more throws if Gainai is going to catch up. Because other than that ending, Drogie had a very solid Bowser in the Sky stage run. Right?
Okay, so one last throw needed.
Yeah, I think that's good. And it is. Well, we talked about
Drogie for a really nice performance.
Drogie really needed a solid run here, and he got it. So he's gonna move to 5-5 and stay above the cut line with a 50-46. Great time.
Now Gainai finishing up the run, giving up to the woodblock movement here now. Standing left side coming out from him. A nice, not quite enough height on his wall kick? I think he just released A too early was the big problem there. That's definitely unusual. That's not normally what you see.
Now, I'm not sure how tiebreakers are conducted in this league. I would imagine it's some sort of time.
So it's actually based on a point system that the points come from how close the two runners are when they finish. So like if the runners are within 10 seconds of each other, the winner gets 60 points, the loser gets 30. Or I believe that's how this. No, I'm sorry. I believe the winner gets 30, the loser gets 30. Like it's pretty much a dead even split. Like we've adjusted the point system a little bit this league, and I'm not exactly familiar with how, but basically those points are what determines tiebreakers. So people have the same win-loss record. Like whoever finished their races by a larger margin with their wins, or like lost by less time, will be higher up.
Got it.
Winner gets. Thanks for the confirmation there. Yeah. But if you finish like 5 minutes apart, the loser gets like virtually no points, whereas the winner does get like 60. And Gainai 2 throws in, one more throw will clinch this race. And a little bit of an early throw, just kind of a mispress, I guess.
Lands on the falling platform, so
You're gonna have
Although,
to just wait this
pretty
out.
good respawn.
He's a little too close to the edge, but finally moved away just enough for Gainai to grab.
There should be a chip in from here.
Oh,
I
not
spoke too
quite.
soon.
It's easy to throw him just a little wrong there. It's really easy. Yeah, that's what it was last season, fair enough. We did adjust it this season.
There we go. So it'll be a 53 something for Gainai.
Yeah, like a 53-16 or 17 or something.
I actually just realized embarrassingly I have last season's standings up. But on the bright side, Drogie beat his average from last season, so
Nice.
good job to Drogie for a solid time.
All right, GG's to both of these runners.
Yeah, great race. Kind of got away from Gainai at the end, but great performances from both. Certainly beats any run I could do.
I mean, same here, honestly. So let's see if either of these runners want to come in for post-race interviews real quick. Little bit up in the air, might end up being a no from both of them. It looks like they're not responding in the background. That's totally fine though. This is definitely a pretty nice matchup. Just like Gainai, once he started kind of falling behind, wasn't really able to make up a ton of time. Drogie playing really, really well throughout upstairs.
Drogie with some cheers to the crowd for supporting him.
And so don't go anywhere, folks. After this race, we're going to have Gainai versus Bunkation, and then Rockshock versus Wilco right after that. So Drogie's saying that he's not going to be able to come in for post interviews, and I'm not sure if. Oh,
wait,
no,
hold
Drogie
on.
is going to be able to come in.
Changes
Okay.
mind.
All right, we got Drogie in first. How are you feeling after that win, my man?
Feeling good. It was great fun. Yeah, I said in chat, Gainai and I were actually voicing. It was quite fun to like shit talk each other while playing.
And Gainai, how are you feeling after that?
It's whatever. I'm like last on the standings, and I don't mind losing another one. It was fun though.
Yeah, so Drogie, like, kind of give us some like general thoughts about the run. I remember there was a really crazy backup at some point later on in the run, like I believe somewhere in Rainbow Ride actually. Can you like talk a little bit about that or wherever it was? I'm sure you know where it was, whatever it was.
Let me think. Oh, maybe on Snowman's Head.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Missing that
yeah.
triple jump there.
That was pretty weird. I just like my brain overheated. I didn't know what to do, and I just did something, and it worked out for some reason. Yeah.
And Gainai, what was kind of going through your mind when like the bomb wasn't working for pillarless at all?
I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating that every race there's like two major points where I just can't get it to work. That's pillarless and back to bounce. Like both of those stars I mess up every time, and I'm kind of like giving up on it because like it just never works in races or in runs or in practice or whenever. It's just kind of annoying, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean the inconsistency with those stars is always bothersome. Drogie, real quick. Also, I noticed that like you ended up having to grab SL Reds because you missed a star somewhere upstairs. I'm guessing. Like, do you happen to remember what star it was now that you're done with the run?
No. Actually, Tavis had the idea to confuse you, and he told me like not to collect the star. And then I realized when I was practicing TTM Reds, I couldn't do it at all. So I figured I just wouldn't do that and do SL Reds instead, because it would ultimately save some time for me, maybe. And it will confuse you as a bonus. So
All right.
for that.
We were actually discussing like, do you, if runners change their strategies based on how their opponent is doing, and it seems like you guys even went a little more meta than that, changing just to confuse the other runner. So certainly an interesting dynamic of a little one-on-one competition.
Yeah,
It was
it
mainly
was
great fun
and
though.
I
Yeah.
think Gainai has an important message to broadcast right now.
Oh yeah.
No,
Well, let's go ahead and hear it.
I don't have one.
For some,
Okay.
for someone in the chat, special person.
Shout out to Lunar.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
All right.
And
So
yeah,
touching.
just really briefly, sorry Milo, but next Sunday, which is in 6 days, don't miss out on the big SM64 trivia quiz hosted by Tabascott and me. It's gonna be streamed on GSA. It's gonna feature trivia questions and a few speedrun questions and a few other questions. You will see. It will be a great and fun event. Hope you guys don't miss out on that.
Yeah, that quiz was a lot of fun last time. Definitely come around this time around. Well,
I'm already looking forward to it. I'll put it in my calendar. Sounds like a lot of fun.
well, GG's guys, and thanks so much for the race. It was definitely nice to see. I'm glad to hear that y'all are having some nice banner in the back room of the booth there.
Yeah, great runs by both players and great race.
Thanks so much.
We'll be right back, folks. We're going to be back with Gainai versus Puncation. Gainai doing a double real quick, even though the next race was played as a pre-record sometime in the past. So we'll be right back. But for now, I'm Electric, and I've been joined in the booth by I Am Not Cola. Thanks so much for the co-coms, man. It was great.
Hey, always a pleasure. I'm gonna come back for the next one. So
all right,
don't kick me
awesome.
out just yet.
So see all of you, including my co-com, in the next race. Be right back after this short intermission.
They are synced.
They are synced now. Do whatever. In the lead again.
Wow. Side for sure from Cheese. Okay, doing it moving. Oh no, the Cheese falls!